Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Restomod Daisy, and we've got an unusual presentation for you tonight. Basically, we're going to tell the tale of this little guy here, which is daisy-esque, looks like a daisy. Boy, it looks like a daisy, but it kind of is a daisy, but it's not a daisy. This is a King, model 2232. I'll get the focus up here, which was built by Daisy because I believe this gun was fabricated sometime in the late 20s, early 30s. Now, why would I be working on a King gun? Well, it's pretty simple. The owner managed to find a King and wanted to take it apart, got a little aggressive with it, and managed to cut off, or in size, make an incision right here where this copper shield is sitting. I'll show you that on another gun. This is a Daisy over here, 155, and you'll note there's a seam there. This particular gun had a compression cup that was sprung loose from its mounting points. So in an effort to stabilize that so the gun would shoot again, I sectioned it and silver soldered it in place so that it would stay put and not ride up and down with the compression cup when you were cycling it. That fixed the problem this gun has. This gun had a cut all the way through the barrel shroud and the compression cup itself, so there was no way to get compression to work without resorting to a patch. Now, patching guns of this nature is not new. It worked on the King, and here's an example of an earlier Daisy, a model 27, which is about the same vintage as the gun we're talking about. This was a forward cocking gun, and the barrel shroud on this unit actually exits the receiver when you remove that screw right there. Now you'll notice it has a patch, an external patch on the barrel shroud that does the same job as our copper patch on the King does. And we included the cutaway so that you could see that little section of steel there where you see the spring, there would normally be the compression cup. On the later manufacturer guns, they did away with the internal cup and just improved the quality of the weld, as you can see there. Now, couldn't get that done with the little King, but what we could do was what we did, which is prep the surface and put a copper patch on it. That restored compression to this little guy. When it showed up, it wouldn't function because the compression cup had been cut through. There was issues with the mainspring, and the seal set on these little guys is a lot heavier and a lot denser than what you would normally see on a Daisy of the same vintage. Both seals, the abutment seal and the compression seal, were leather. They were in terrible shape. They basically crumbled when I managed to finally get the gun apart and extract them. The other issue with the gun was mismatched hardware. We've got that fixed up. And of course, like all small frames, it had a crack. We've treated that with wood glue. It no longer flexes when you flex the gun, so that should solve that problem. Now, in terms of restoring it to its original splendor, with the modification that was made to the compression cylinder and substitution of a set of Model 25 seals, we substituted a synthetic abutment seal for the compression chamber and a synthetic plunger or compression cup seal for the leather seal that was originally in it. On the Kings, they're a little bit smaller diameter-wise than their Daisy brothers. The seal set measured right at 0.079 of an inch, a little bit smaller than a regular Model 25 set, so some trimming was required in that regard as well. And the seals themselves were a bit thinner, so they had to be thinned down. A lot of handwork went into it, but we got a gun that's functional now. It will fire steel BBs, even though it is set up as a lead BB gun. There is no retention spring on the shot tube, but it'll chunk a steel BB out at about 125, 130 feet a second, which is maybe about half the power level the gun had new, but much better than the power level the gun had when it arrived, which was zero, nothing. So we got that done. It's a nickel gun, so we cleaned off the debris as best we could and cleaned up the stocks a touch. They were in fairly good shape for a gun as old as this thing is. Like I said, I believe it's a late 20s, early 30s King, and then because Daisy discontinued the King line after they absorbed the company, Daisy management bought a share interest. What do you call it? Got a stake in the company in 1916, and by the time the Depression hit, the King product line sales plummeted, and Daisy basically pulled the plug on the company. And according to the literature, in order to make sure that no one else bought the stamping dies, tools, and other accessories required to make a BB gun of that era, they took all the Markham King tools and dies and ditched them into the Detroit River. That's capitalism for you. So there you have it. This little King, which is akin to a Daisy, is now back up, is now running and ready to go home. And we're going to send her on her way. And that's our explanation of what we did to this one. So flip back by when you can, and we'll have another video of what we did and how we did it at some point in time. This is Shane Bruce with Restomod Daisy, signing off.